My Deepest Secret is one of the best webcomics I have ever read. This series constantly has twists and turns and you never know where the story is going to go. But that is one of the things that makes this series so good. This series knows exactly how to set up a plot point early in the story and come back to it later on while simultaneously us not even realizing that it happened. But when you go back and look at it, it really did happen. This series is one of the craziest rides I have ever been on. There's only one point in time where I thought I knew what was going on in the story, but that very quickly changed after the start of this new season, as my perspective on certain characters completely changed, but not in a bad way, actually in the best way possible. This series has kept me on the edge of my seat in just about every single chapter that has come out by constantly having things going on and constantly setting up new things for our characters to face. The amount of times I have been confused reading this series is actually kind of crazy, but it's not a bad thing for this series because it allows for the twists to be that much crazier and all around just hit that much better. This series has handled everything right, from the characters to the art and definitely to the story. This series has been amazing right from chapter 1 and has kept me coming back for more each week, which I love. I don't know how this series has been able to keep me hooked, but it does. Everything this series does to set up things just works, and one of the greatest things I have experienced is that the characters can do some of the most unexpected things, but it still ends up feeling not out of character for them, and so it just makes the story that much crazier. This series is a bundle of twists and turns around every corner. One week you might think you know what's going on, and the next you're back to being confused after some new plot point comes up. This series is a blast to read, and honestly with all the changes to the characters we have had, especially in recent times, has made the story that much better. I am very excited to learn more and more about this story as each week passes. It just becomes more and more of a roller coaster that I can't put down. This series has truly been amazing right from chapter 1, and it just keeps getting better and better as more time passes, which I love. As I briefly mentioned in the first part of this video, the characters are a big reason as to why this series is so amazing. Each and every character feels very real, and each of their struggles and personal problems are also things that can absolutely happen to anybody, and it just adds more layers to the characters, making them even better. The cast of characters has been amazing so far as well. I really like the dynamics between each and every character as we get into the story, and as we see the interactions of the characters, we also slowly start to see some of the faces they've built up over years slowly start to crumble, especially with one character whom I will not mention as that's the whole purpose of the story in the first place. But that is one of the greatest things about this series. The characters just have this vibe like they could be real people. Like sure, there are definitely some things that are exaggerated a bit to make the series more entertaining, but overall the things that happen in this series and the things that characters could experience are all things real people could have gone through and could be struggling with on a daily basis, which I love, as that sense of realism really gets you to connect with the characters a lot more, which I love. The world is also quite interesting. It takes place in a real world, so there isn't much special about it, but unlike most webcomics I read, where it takes place in either Korea or a fantasy world of some kind, this story takes place in America, which makes it a little more unique than most webcomics. The setting for the series also plays very well with the story, as there is a lot of action and craziness that happens throughout the series that otherwise wouldn't be so easily possible if it wasn't for the location, which is awesome. The series plays with this world very well and knows exactly how to use it to its advantage, which I love. The world here isn't just a background location. A lot of the time, the area in which an encounter is happening is used as a way to set things up, especially if there's going to be some type of action going on, because then there's a lot of strategizing and using your surroundings to your advantage, which is cool. Now I keep bringing up action, but let me just tell you, this series is by no means an action series, so I wouldn't go into it thinking that. This series is a thriller series, and it uses action to set up a lot of future plot points that will be used later. It makes everything come together a lot better than they otherwise would have. The art in this series is amazing, and you can see the development of the art throughout the series. Look at these two panels, one from chapter 1 and one from one of the most recent chapters. Just look at the difference. But the art also gets darker as the series gets darker, which is awesome. The creator of the series knows how to play with art extremely well to make the series that much better, and the paneling in the series is also amazing as well. We get to see the development of the art in this series, which I love about this series. The art is used perfectly in this series as a way to let you know when you're in a dark part of the story by dulling the colors, and that is awesome. My Deepest Secret is a series that at the start you really have no idea where the series is going to go, but by the time you're invested, you're just enjoying the story and characters and still trying to figure out where the series is going to go. This series has so many different plot twists that just flip all your knowledge that you thought you had on its head and makes you really rethink everything you thought you knew about certain characters, which is crazy. This series has done so much, right from the amazing art to the amazing characters to an absolutely god-tier story. This series has been one of the craziest rides I have ever been on in all of fiction. This series is insane. I look forward to a new chapter every week as it just gets me more and more invested in the series with each new chapter, which I love. I love this series. It is a series that I highly recommend if you love drama-filled action with amazing characters that explores very dark themes, because this series does all of that, so I know you'll love it.